Have you ever played games like Harvest Moon and wish that they still made games like that today? You do know about Harvest Moon, right? Farming sim had social interactions with the NPCs? Well, someone sure did, and missed the series so much that they went and over the course of nearly a decade, worked on their own take on the series. Enter Eric Barron. Is that how it's pronounced? AKA ConcernedApe, who felt that the Harvest Moon series had been on a decline since Harvest Moon Back to Nature, which was released in 1999, and in response, made his own spiritual successor to the series that not only took inspiration from Harvest Moon, but also Animal Crossing, Rune Factory, Minecraft, and Terraria. In February of 2016, Stardew Valley released on Steam, with it later releasing on consoles and smartphones, and would receive several major content updates throughout its lifespan to a point where this game now has real-world months worth of content. I mean that, this game has so much content that it can keep you busy for quite a long time, so much that I couldn't possibly hope to cover it all with one video unless I made it ungodly long, and that would take forever to make, so what is a cat girl to do in this situation?
Why not just make it a multi-part series on the channel? You know, doing something slightly different from the norm couldn't hurt.
Dang, that's actually a good idea. Thanks, Palkia.
Now when am I gonna start getting more screen time in these videos?
Never. Perish. So not only is this going to be a reoccurring series on the channel, I'm also going to format these videos like a journal of sorts, basically just going through my experience with the game, and then from there you can make your own decision if you feel like this is something you want to play as well. With all that said, let's get into Stardew Valley. Upon starting a new game, we can make our character, which I tried to do my best to make a human version of me, but I think it turned out fine. We can also name ourselves, our farm, and our favorite thing. There's even several game options here that we can choose from, like what type of farm we want, to even adjusting the game rules, which is greatly appreciated. However, I just stuck with the defaults. After giving the okay, we see a scene of our grandfather on his deathbed, the jankiest deathbed I've ever seen, where he gives us an envelope but tells us not to open it until we feel crushed by the burden of modern society. Some unspecified time later, we finally reach that point while working our crummy 9 to 5, and is that guy dead? Holy shit, Georgia Corp's fucking brutal. We open the envelope and read the enclosed letter, where it's revealed that Grandpa left us his farm in Stardew Valley, where we can start our life anew. After a long bus ride, we're greeted by the local carpenter, Robin, who shows us to our farm and oh god, this place is a mess! At least there's a cottage, a very cramped, run-down cottage, but it should serve us as a nice place to sleep. We also meet the mayor of the nearby Pelican Town, Lewis. After sleeping the night away, we wake up to see a present on the floorboards. This contains parsnip seeds, which of course we plant after making a clearing for farmland. I also made a little fence for the crops, just to keep them safe. Crops of course take time to grow, and we also need to make sure that they're watered daily to keep them growing. Aside from that, at the moment we only have 500 gold to our name, so I would say our first objective should be to earn more money, with our second objective being to expand the farm. I decided to spend the rest of my day running around and meeting the various townsfolk, who are a colorful cast of characters who we can raise our friendship points with to learn more about them over time. Some of them are even single, and yes, you can marry some of them. I won't be doing that, however, since I just want to focus on the farm, but it couldn't hurt to become friends with some of these people and, Alright, new objective! After a visit to the saloon and playing this arcade game they had there, I went home for the day for some much needed rest. On day 2, I start to establish my morning routine of watering the crops, as well as checking my mail, to which I notice I got a letter from the local fisherman who wants us to meet him at the dock south of town. When reaching the beach, he greets us and talks to us for a bit before handing us a fishing rod. The fishing mechanic of this game is honestly pretty fun. You have to get this green rectangle over the fish long enough in order to successfully reel it in. On day 3, it started to rain, meaning I didn't have to water my crops that day, so I decided to take that time to clear up more land for future expansions. I think now would be a good time to go over the various mechanics and whatnot of this game. You have various tools that you can use for a variety of things in the game. The axe chops wood, the pickaxe destroys rocks, the hoe tills soil, and the watering can, well, waters stuff. On the bottom right is your energy meter, which depletes with each action you do with the tools, and if it depletes entirely, you pass out and you lose some money. The game's time system runs off its own internal clock, and not a real-time clock. each day will last roughly 15 to 20 minutes in real time, as the day starts at 6 AM and will end at 2 AM, and if you're still not in bed by 2, then you automatically pass out. While months aren't necessarily a thing in this game, seasons are. Seasons last a total of 28 days, in which the change of seasons will change stuff like forageables, the way that various sprites look, as well as what seeds can and can't be planted and harvested. If you say, plant a spring seed that takes 8 days to grow, and the season changes before that can happen, then the crop will automatically die, so you want to be on the lookout for when the seasons come to a close. A lot wound up happening on day 5, so let's go over that. Marnie showed up with a stray cat and asked if I wanted to take care of it, and naturally I said yes. We even get to name the cat, who I named Junior, after my cat in real life. Oh, look at him. It looks just like him. Oh, you little piece of shit. You're like nearly 14. Oh, God. The parsnips that I planted on day 1 were also ready to be harvested, which I immediately shoved those things into the selling box by my house. Afterwards, I visited the general goods store and bought a bunch of cauliflower seeds to plant next. After returning to town, Lewis shows me the old rundown community center building, which he contemplates selling to Joja Corp if anyone else buys a membership from them. After entering and seeing just how bad the place has become, our character spots these tiny creatures that only seem interested in us as they vanish when Lewis tries to investigate them. I decided to head north and found this mine, where this old adventurer named Marlin hands me a sword to defend myself should I want to go into the mines. I head inside and mine up some rocks and other materials, only to find slime monsters lurking below. There are several enemies underground that we have to fend off should we want to delve further into the mines. They can harm you, and if they do, you lose HP. Yes, you also have health in this game, but it only really matters in the mines. After some time, I emerged with several new materials and decided to head home with my treasures for the night, where several of my skills leveled up. Yes, you also have skills in this game. There are 5 in total: foraging, farming, fishing, mining, and combat. It is in your interest to raise these stats, as they not only provide you with better tool efficiency, or in combat's case, more HP, but they also unlock more crafting recipes for you, such as the Scarecrow, which will fend off crows from eating your crops overnight. The next day, I decided to take one of the amethysts that I got from the mines and give it to Abigail as a present of sorts, which she seemed to enjoy. Yes! One step closer, one step closer. I decided to take my goodies from the mines to the museum, where the curator, Gunther, asked me to bring him any artifacts that we come across, as just like in Animal Crossing, the museum is practically empty. I made my way back to the community center, where I found this tile on the floor with some strange writings on it that I could not read, and since it was getting late, I decided to call it quits for the night. After accomplishing my morning routines and clearing more farmland, I read this letter I got in the mail and okay, I clicked out of that way too quickly by accident. But basically, a wizard on the outskirts of town wants to meet with me. Upon arrival, he shows me that creature that I saw at the community center and informs me that they call themselves Junimos. They're harmless, but he wants to know why they moved into the community center, and after warping to the community center to see the tile himself, he returns through the front door and gives us a translation of the writings. The Junimo want to aid us, but in return for doing so, they want gifts from the valley. The wizard asks us to drink this concoction from his cauldron, and after some initial hesitation, we do so and pretty much start tripping balls. However, in turn, we gain a new power, the ability to decipher the Junimo scrolls. On the next day, I decided to pay Mayor Lewis a visit, who gives me a prize ticket that I can redeem at this prize machine within his house. He tells us that we can earn more of these by doing certain tasks at the Help Wanted board. This board functions as a quest board. Different people in the town will sometimes post Help Wanted papers where they ask for certain items and in turn will reward you with gold, and it'll also come with the bonus of raising their friendship with you. Another thing I did today was upgrade my inventory capacity. You see, starting out, you only have a measly 12 inventory slots, which becomes such a burden. Fortunately, this can be upgraded twice to give you a total of 36 slots. The first upgrade is 2,000 gold, but the second and final upgrade is fucking 10,000 gold. Anyway, after giving Abigail some quartz... What the fuck do you mean this looks delicious? I have the blacksmith Clint process some geodes for me before taking them to the museum, where I get a reward for the amount of donations that I've made. I went back to the farm and expanded the cropland so I could plant more cauliflower, as well as these carrot seeds, which means more watering in the morning. Hooray, my favorite. I gotta be honest, I really dig the mine adventure aspect of this game. It's really fun to go deeper into the mines to see what kind of loot I can get, not to mention combat feels really good to do. Something I think Stardew Valley really excels at is its diverse gameplay. You do have your slower paced parts, but there are also other parts that really want to keep you on your toes. It does result in this game being like a jack of all trades, master of none sort of deal. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, just that there's something here that I think anyone could get attached to and love. The next day I went back to the community center to investigate the Junimo scrolls again, only to be met with this new screen. These are the bundles, and it's pretty clear that this is meant to be a year-long project for you to work on. This one in particular asks for foraging items, so that's something to keep in mind while you're going through your daily routines. Eventually I reached the 20th floor of the mines, where I found a chest containing a steel smallsword, which deals more damage than my current rusty sword, which only incentivized me to move further into the mines to see what other loot awaits me. On day 11, my carrots were fully grown and ready to be sold, so I decided to buy some jazz seeds to put in their place. On the next day, I got a letter informing me of the town's egg hunt that I could participate in. After yet another day in the mines, I headed back home, only to witness Linus, the local homeless man, rummaging through George's trash. We confront him, where he asks us if digging through the trash to get thrown out food for himself is so bad, to which I told him no. It would be a shame for that food to go to waste after all, so I decided to let him go. After we leave, we even see a bit of compassion from Gus, who owns the saloon, who tells Linus that if he needs food, he can just ask. Today is the Egg Festival, where everyone is gathered around in celebration of eggs. Now, if only we could get some that were green and served with ham. After talking with Lewis, we can participate in the egg hunt against some of the townsfolk, where we have to find eggs hidden throughout the town, where of course I eviscerate the competition, and earn a straw hat as my prize, which makes me look even more like a true farmer now. On the next day, I presume my character has had enough waiting and just breaks into Abigail's room while she's playing a game on her TV. Seriously, I can't be the only one who has questions as to why we just kind of appeared in here, right? She's frustrated that she can't get past the first level of her game, and asks us to help her when we engage in some co-op action. After assisting her, she likes us enough to where we can now freely enter her room. Oh, hell yeah! A couple days later, I make my usual rounds to Pierre's store, which is pretty busy, only for Maurice, the man who runs the local Joja Mart store, to come in and solicit Pierre's customers away, and then brag about how good Joja Corp is. What an asshole. Later on, I also completed the Spring Foraging Bundle, which gave me some spring seeds as a reward, but also caused more Junimo scrolls to appear, one for crops, and the other for fishing. On day 17, my cauliflower was finally able to be harvested and sold, so that's the first thing I did today. After that, I made the decision to expand the crops even further, as well as place down an additional scarecrow just to be safe. Coincidentally, the next day, those jazz seeds I planted also finished growing. I also unlocked the ability to make sprinklers. Ah, yes, finally! I don't have to water every single crop, just some of them. I decided to take my earnings and buy more jazz seeds since it's nearing the end of the season and they're quick to grow. After purchasing some iron ore from Clint and smelting that into iron bars, I installed 3 sprinklers for the moment, which made me incredibly happy that this task of watering everything was about to be over. The next day, I woke up feeling invigorated. I went outside and... Are you fucking with me? They only water the 4 crops directly next to them? God damn it! Well, my day is ruined. God fucking damn it, stupid fucking sprinklers. What a shit idea. Why would I even make these if I still have to water 95% of the field still? God, this is fucking bullshit. Later that day, I went deeper into the mines where I reached this cold section where I also received a long-range weapon, the slingshot. On the next day, I am still lamenting the fact that those sprinklers suck ass, but I've also come to accept that this just means I should start upgrading my tools as well. But I want to build a chicken coop first as the means to get more income. After all, earning money is our prime objective. I decided to spend the next few days just fishing, to see what I could get, as well as to raise my fishing stat higher. I managed to reel in some pretty good catches, as well as some chests containing various items like geodes, which I of course brought to Clint for processing. Tuesday the 23rd saw me receive a letter informing me of the flower dance where I could participate in said dance if I could find a partner to dance with. Naturally, I already have someone in mind, but that's tomorrow. This is today, and on this day, I finally decide to build that chicken coop. However, I also found Abigail in the rain playing the flute where my character just pulls out as the two play a song in the rain together. Finally, I am able to purchase the chicken coop from Robin, which will take 3 days to complete. The next day is the flower dance, where Pierre has a shop set up to buy seasonal flowers. But everyone is here though, even Linus. It's good to see him with everyone else enjoying the festivities. I asked Abigail to be my dance partner, and because my friendship with her was high enough, she said yes! Now, as for the dance itself, why am I the only one that didn't change clothes? I look goofy as shit next to everyone else who looks rather dapper in their blue tuxes and white dresses. On Thursday, I get a letter from someone named Hatmouse, and I don't know what to make of this letter. They sell hats, I guess. Anyway, another successful jazz harvest is complete, and I decided not to plant anything else for the time being, as there's only a few more days left in the season, and I don't want to risk the crops dying off when the season changes. There's also this bookseller in town who sells— what the f— look at those prices! I can't afford that right now! I think these give you more powers, but fuck no! The next day, I collect some copper bars and head down the Clint to upgrade my watering can, which will allow me to water more spots at once. It'll take a couple of days before it's ready, hence why I waited till the end of the season, when I wouldn't have any crops to tend to. The following day, the chicken coop is finally complete, meaning I can buy a chicken and place it in there to get their eggs to sell or make food out of. Today, I became good enough friends with Abigail's mother, Caroline, that I could enter her greenhouse and even have some tea with her. Later on, I ventured further into the mines, where I encountered a ghost, which was rather spooky. Sunday the 28th, the final day of spring. Alright, let's see here. I got a letter from Caroline with a recipe to make my own tea, as well as a letter from my dad, who sent me some money Grandpa had left for me. And, that was nice of him to send me the money instead of just pocketing it for himself. I also finally decided to get my first chick in the day, but first, I picked up my new copper watering can, as well as saw Jazz and Vincent by the sewer grate, only to be spooked by something inside. They asked me to investigate, and sure enough, there was something. I finally purchased my chicken from Marnie, who lets me name it, and of course I give it the most tasteful name that I could think of. I then went to Robin to see what all she could build for me, and there's a lot here: a silo, a fish pond, a cabin for multiplayer. Oh, right. Yeah, this game has multiplayer, but all it is just the normal game, but you can have 3 other friends joining you on the farm. One of the starting farms is even meant for multiplayer too, so that's pretty cool. Finally, summer is here, and with it some debris has fallen onto the ground, but that doesn't take long to clear up. After retilling the farmland, I made my way to Pierre to pick up some new summer seeds. I heavily leaned in the blueberries, but I got some other seeds as well, like melons, tomatoes, and peppers. What's cool is that some of these will produce multiple yields after growing, so they can be a nice source of income, I hope. As fun as all of that is, I yearn for the mines, and thus I decided to do some more adventuring before heading home for the night, but instead I found Abigail in the graveyard and talked to her for a bit, where she tells me that she wants to explore the mines but also knows how dangerous they can be. Things are going fine until Pierre shows up and demands she head home. Abigail ain't having none of that though, as her and I head off to somewhere quiet to hide from her dad. The next day, I got a letter from Linus where he sent me one of his favorite fish recipes. I guess it's good to know that postage is free in this town. I also got another letter from Caroline where she sent me a parsnip that I immediately put in my selling box, I'm not gonna lie, but it's kind of weird that she's sending me these letters all of a sudden. Especially considering what I'm trying to do with her daughter. Wait a minute, is she? Uh-oh. By this point in the game, I've given complete way to my routine, water plants, talk to Abby, potentially cuck Pierre, talk to other people, then go into the mines. Once I head home and get some sleep for the night, a fucking earthquake happens, and I have no clue what it did, but it happened. It's also on the next day that I realized I've been starving poor Nugs the entire time I've had her. Now, this is entirely on me for not knowing, but you also need to build a silo for housing hay to feed the chickens. After talking to Robin and getting enough clay, she starts building it, which will take about 2 days. I spent Friday fishing at the beach, which was pretty relaxing. Caught some nice stuff, too. It's here I found out that these rippling spots seem to trigger catches more frequently. I also completed the summer foraging bundle, which unlocked yet another Junimo scroll in the community center, this one being for mining and adventuring materials. Yet another day passes, and the first harvest of my pepper plants is ready. I also get to witness Penny helping George reach his mail, only for him to get pissy about it, but he apologizes after we show up inside with her. I wake up for another day and everything is green. Oh god, there's way more plant life! Everything is overgrown. What the hell is this? All the townspeople are freaked out about it too. None of them will even go outside, save for Demetrius, who is in full hazmat gear, god damn it. Even the mines have this green haze all over them, it's pretty freaky. The next day, all of that green rain and haze is gone, which only further adds to the mystery of what that was. I did my usual routine, but I also gave my axe to Clint for upgrades, and then it happened. Yeah, I've been playing this game every day for over a week straight, and I think I'm starting to get burnt out now. A little anticlimactic, I know, but the last thing I want to do is push myself to play something when I really don't want to. But I'll tell you what, not only will I make a part 2 to this video, but our goal for the next part will be to finish out the year and see what else we can accomplish. As for my thoughts as of this part, well, I like it. Stardew Valley is a fun time and very relaxing to play that I think most people can enjoy this game. The mechanics that are here are nicely crafted, and the fact that the game has been updated to high hell with so much extra content that there is no way I could cover it all in one video is a good reason why you should give it a shot. It's not that expensive, it's only 15 bucks on Steam, and given how frequently Steam does sales, you can definitely get it for cheaper. Show ConcernedApe some love, and play Stardew Valley. Until next time, have a great day or night. Peace.